In modern society, we live in an era where light is celebrated and darkness is rejected. Many people spend their entire lives chasing good feelings, moments of joy, positivity, thrilling experiences, or even familiar slogans like "good vibes only." On the surface, this may seem like an admirable journey, constantly seeking happiness, always turning toward the sun. But the truth is far more complex. Behind radiant smiles and sparkling moments on social media, many people are actually running away from themselves. We stay deliberately busy, filling our schedules with work, events, entertainment, to avoid facing the quiet spaces within. We dive into parties, endless videos, self-help books, positive meditation, manifestations, all to keep the mind outwardly focused. But ultimately, all of these are just ways to avoid the parts of ourselves we don't want to see. Painful memories, fears, repressed emotions, or unsettling truths. The problem is this: what we avoid never truly disappears. It is merely pushed into the basement of the mind, where it retains its full power and gradually leaks into daily life. It shows up as addictions, self-destructive behaviors, unexplained anger, or a vague sense of emptiness, even when life appears fine on the outside. Thus, instead of finding liberation, we get caught in a cycle: addiction, avoidance, emptiness, and then seeking escape again. At first, this cycle seems effective. Avoiding feels like relief, a temporary release. But when the high fades, the emptiness returns, often heavier than before. From there, we search for another fix, another party, another consumption, another way to escape. That is why many people, despite having material wealth, stable jobs, or what society labels as happiness, still carry an unnamed void within. This is not a personal failure, but a phenomenon of our times. We are taught how to strive, how to smile, how to think positively, but rarely are we taught how to face pain, how to step into our own darkness. And this absence leaves many floundering, living lives that touch only half of the truth. Carl Jung, the great psychologist of the 20th century, introduced a concept of profound influence: the shadow. This is not a mystical or vague idea, but a very real part of human psychology. According to Jung, the shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves, holding everything pushed out of conscious light. It may include repressed emotions like anger, shame, fear, hurt, or guilt. But the shadow does not only contain the bad, it also holds beautiful and powerful aspects we have denied: desires, talents, creativity, unique personality traits, all the things that don't fit the ideal image we try to present to gain societal acceptance. Imagine that since childhood, every time we express an emotion or trait that others mock, oppose, or deem not allowed, we hide it away. Gradually, these fragments accumulate into the shadow behind us. We cannot see it, but it is always there. The important point is, what is rejected does not vanish. Darkness does not disappear simply because we ignore it. On the contrary, it remains alive and influential. When unacknowledged, it begins to leak outward in distorted forms. Sudden anger, self-destructive acts, addictive habits, or feelings of lack and emptiness, even when the external life seems complete and successful. Have you ever wondered why many people achieve success, wealth, recognition, yet still feel not enough? This is the consequence of the most important part of them: the fragments of their shadow remaining locked in the unconscious. Without integration, humans always feel incomplete, like a crucial puzzle piece missing from the picture. This explains why many get trapped in cycles of addiction or self-sabotage, not because they crave pleasure, but because they cannot bear the emptiness created by self-rejection. They turn to alcohol, drugs, overwork, toxic relationships to fill the void, but it is only temporary. Jung pointed out that the shadow is not an enemy, but an unrecognized part of ourselves. Only when we summon the courage to return, reflect, and face it, does the shadow stop controlling life from behind the scenes. And paradoxically, sometimes the very power, creativity, and true freedom we seek are hidden within the shadow we avoid. When Carl Jung spoke of integration, shadow work, he did not advise us to dwell in darkness or glorify it. The real meaning lies in befriending the rejected part, opening to accept its existence as a natural aspect of life. Instead of treating darkness as an enemy to destroy, Jung showed that what we need to do is bring it to light, listen, and understand it. This is crucial because when the shadow is rejected, it quietly manipulates us from the unconscious. It makes us overreact to small situations, pushes us towards self-destructive behaviors, or creates a lingering sense of emptiness. But when we dare to face and integrate it, the shadow no longer needs to knock on life's door through crises. It becomes part of inner strength. Integrating the shadow also helps us live more fully. A person living only in positive light will always feel lacking, like music with only high notes and no bass. Life is inherently dual. There is joy and sorrow, success and failure, light and darkness. When we deny half of the picture, we cannot truly experience life's wholeness. Moreover, integration helps reduce fear when facing challenges. Instead of panicking in failure or despair and pain, we can stand firm between both extremes, light and dark. This balance creates spiritual maturity. We no longer flee or attempt to erase sorrow, but understand that it is part of the journey. This also means we rely less on artificial doses of happiness. Before integrating the shadow, people often turn to alcohol, stimulants, fleeting relationships, or even positive addiction, forcing themselves only to think happy thoughts to avoid the dark parts. But when we accept both light and dark, we no longer need these escapes. Happiness no longer comes from filling the void, but from being fully connected with ourselves. In other words, integration is not sinking into darkness, but learning to stand firmly in both light and dark. It is a crucial step toward becoming a whole, authentic, profound, and free human being. Carl Jung described shadow formation with a familiar metaphor, an invisible backpack. Imagine that since childhood, every time we display an unacceptable emotion or trait, we stuff it into an imaginary backpack on our backs. Once we get angry and are scolded, don't be so hot-tempered. We put that anger in the backpack. When we cry out of sadness and don't be weak, we hide that sorrow. When we express creativity, dare to paint or sing, and are mocked as silly, we stuff that passion in too. Over the years, the backpack fills. It contains not only suppressed negative emotions like anger, shame, and fear, but also the positive parts of ourselves, talents, sensitivity, aspirations, and unique traits once denied. All fragments that do not fit the perfect image we try to maintain are locked inside. As adults, the backpack doesn't disappear. It sits on our back, heavy but invisible. We may smile, succeed, enjoy luxurious travels, yet the backpack remains, making us inexplicably exhausted. Sometimes we forget it exists, but the weight, pressure, and sense of missing something persist. This is where integration becomes essential. Integration is the journey of opening the invisible backpack. We courageously examine what we have hidden: old pain, shameful memories, and suppressed dreams and talents. Opening the backpack is not just about clearing rot, but reclaiming forgotten gems, strengths, abilities, and true joys long neglected. Each time we take out a hidden piece, observe it, accept it, and decide to keep or release it, we feel lighter. Life no longer feels like trudging under an invisible burden. It becomes a path of freedom where we live fully with all that is ours. The invisible backpack is the shadow. Integration is not only unlocking pain, but restoring true inner power, allowing us to live fully and authentically. Life has never been monochrome. In every moment, light exists alongside darkness, joy with sorrow, and behind every success lies countless failures. This is not injustice, but a natural law of the universe. Understanding this allows us to see life more holistically, not bewildered by change, nor overly intoxicated by fleeting happiness. What exhausts many is the desire for a life only in light, always cheerful, always positive, without stumbling or suffering. Yet the more we try to deny the other half of reality, the deeper our disappointment. Happiness is not the absence of suffering, but the ability to traverse it while keeping inner peace. When we accept duality, we learn to stand in both dimensions. Each failure is not an end, but an essential part of growth. Each visit of sorrow is not to be chased away, but understood for its hidden message. And when joy comes, we appreciate it more, knowing it is not guaranteed, but a gift in contrast to difficult days. Accepting duality does not make us weaker. It grants enduring inner strength. When we see the shadow without fear, we are not easily swept away by sudden challenges. When we discard the illusion of a life all pink, we can savor even the smallest joys fully and deeply. Life is music woven from both high and low notes. Choosing only the bright melodies strips the music of richness and depth, but when we open ourselves to all, we truly feel the fullness and meaning of the human journey. 7 steps to shadow work. the journey of connecting with inner darkness. Within every person exists a part we tend to avoid, suppress, or deny, the shadow. Shadow work does not aim to eliminate this part, but to help us recognize, accept, and transform it into strength. This courageous self-discovery journey can begin with these 7 basic steps. Identify the shadow. The shadow often emerges through strong emotions: anger, jealousy, or irritation towards someone. Each intense reaction reflects something we have not yet acknowledged in ourselves. 2. Create a safe space. To face the shadow, you need a safe environment. Spend time journaling, meditating, walking in nature, or seeking therapy. This is where you can be honest with yourself without fear of judgment. 3. Drop the good-bad label. Emotions are not bad. They signal that something needs attention. By releasing the positive-negative label, we begin to view emotions more objectively and completely. 4. Recognize avoidance. Many unconsciously fill inner voids with addiction, work, or busyness. Instead of running, pause and ask, what am I avoiding? This question opens the door to directly face the shadow. 5. Reclaim hidden gifts. Often within the shadow are gifts previously suppressed: creativity, sensitivity, intellect, or power. Courageously uncovering them heals old wounds and restores your inherent potential. 6. Accept life's duality. Light and dark, joy and sorrow are all part of growth. Accepting both makes us whole, preventing extremes of one side from dominating. 7. Turn it into a lifestyle. Shadow work is not a one-time task, but a lifelong journey. Make it a habit. Observe yourself, listen to your emotions, and continually learn to love even imperfect parts. Practicing shadow work is a courageous step and a path toward true inner freedom and power. When we bravely sit with our own darkness, a miracle occurs. We stop running from ourselves. The feeling of division, conflict, and incompleteness gradually dissolves, replaced by wholeness, unity, and an unprecedented sense of freedom. This is not perfection, but authenticity, a full presence with ourselves and life. Humans inherently crave connection with others, with work, with creative joy. But if we haven't reconciled with our inner depths, these connections remain superficial, fleeting, and fragile. When the shadow is embraced, we bring a new depth to relationships. Love is no longer to fill a void, but to share ourselves fully. Creativity becomes a natural flow rather than proving our worth. Life's joy is no longer dependent on external stimulants, but steady and refreshing like an inner stream. This freedom is not loud or chaotic, but a state of ease, as if the invisible burden is set down. We rely less on constantly escaping through social media, work, shopping, or temporary pleasures. Instead, we learn to be fully present, whether in a quiet afternoon, a simple conversation, or even during hardships. Integrating darkness does not make life a straight pink line. Challenges, sorrow, and uncertainty remain, but instead of collapsing, we stand stronger. Instead of being submerged, we learn to breathe within the waves. And through experiencing both light and dark, joy deepens, creativity flourishes, and love becomes sincere. The greatest outcome of this journey is inner freedom, something no one can take away, opening the door to a meaningful life, connection, and true peace.